Hi, good morning. No matter what you get or what you achieve in your life will excite you for a moment, but will not bring you the long term joy and happiness. It is because who you become that fulfill you, and nothing is better than being yourself. Be the authentic you. Find your true gift to be, to give, to share, or even more. Hi, everyone. Welcome to CCC Get Together Creative Life Talks. My name is Natalie Sates. I'll be your host today. And to our Muslim friends, Selamat Hari Raya Idul Fitri. So just a reminder that we would like to invite you to join our Facebook, CCC Facebook group, and also subscribe to our CCC YouTube channels to be part of the community. So, today's we would like to walk through with you that how to enjoy your life and how to find your passion and enjoy what you're doing. So we all know that we want to live an extraordinary life, to have a clarity that where you are right now and where you want to go. Regardless, what is your age group, what's your gender, what's your race or education background. Because we all know that the ultimate goal is to have a long-term happiness, joy, and fulfill. And the number one secret of fulfillment is in your career is knowing what's your gift. So if you hear me clear, why I say the number one secret of fulfillment, why I don't say number one secret of success, it's because there's so many people are very successful, they're very wealthy, but they're not happy. They're not enjoy what they're doing. And if let's say you are the business entrepreneurs, if let's say you are someone that is a leader, and one of the purpose that having your business is to get the freedoms. So in terms of financially freedoms, or maybe you can have more time to spend with your families, your loved ones. But if you notice that the more success of your business, the less time you have. So today, we are honored to have our special guest, Felix. So Felix has a 20 years experience in leading each personal development space working with thousands of people. And he is a senior trainer for the world famous executive coach, Tony Robbins. And he utilized Tony's 6 human needs and NSC technology to help people to be their absolute best. So let's welcome Felix, and he's live from LA. Yes.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Hi, Nat.
Hi, Felix. It's really honored to have you today. And I know your time is about evening, so good evening to you.
And good morning to you, or good, yeah, probably close to noon for you guys. and to our Muslim friends, happy Ramadan. And I think it's New Year's, right, for you guys. So enjoy your party.
Yes. Well, we're all in the lockdown environment, so our party at home and Zoom
Yes.
party.
Yes.
And maybe some of them, they are watching this party, right? So we have today, I think we would like to, because we have a conversation a couple of months ago that we both gone through the journey that we probably to start as someone that passionate what we are doing, what we are good at, and start a business. But until certain milestone that we feel that is overwhelming, is some kind of this is what I love at the beginning, but why I'm so suffering or why I don't enjoy doing right now. So
Right.
Felix, so probably you can share a little bit of your inputs to our audience, to our community, that why they are they cannot really have a fulfillment that what they enjoy what they're doing.
So the kind of challenge that you're talking about here is we call that the frog in water test, right? And so frogs aren't very good at determining change of temperature. A slow, gradual change of temperature. So if a person or if a frog is put into cold water and slowly the heat is turned up, the frog just sits there until it boils to death. If you put a frog in hot water, it'll jump right out, right? But so this is what happens to humans. We, in our minds, we get used to not feeling right, or we become accustomed to something that is not fulfilling us. Right. And all of a sudden you look back at the last year, 5 years, 10 years, and you're not happy. You realize that you've spent all this time, you're maybe really great at something. You may be one of the best people at doing something that in the world. And you look back and you just realize you're just really unhappy. because your skill set doesn't equal your passion, right? And you may be completely, like, over the years, you've grown and taken on more responsibilities and more responsibilities and more responsibilities just because you could, and you forgot to realize that you didn't want those responsibilities. You didn't want to have to do those kind of things. Those aren't the things that make you happy. And we have to take a step back and realize that, okay, so what are ways we can measure how we get fulfillment? What are ways that we can actually measure how we can be very happy and enjoy what we're doing? And so I think today is like, we want to talk a little bit about that, right? We want to give them just some quick tips on, like, take a look at where they are. Like, how do you measure yourself? How do you go about saying, hey, look, I really love what I'm doing and I'm here. This is exactly how my life should be. Or are you in a place where, are you in a place where, no, I'm getting beat up every day?
You know why I want to have this session? Because I believe a lot of our business entrepreneurs that they gone through this journey, or maybe we are going through, we also, we're still in this journey, which is, I share a little bit of my story because I started my business for about 12 years ago. So when the first 5 years, I can tell you that I can work day to night, that I have, what is tired, what is sleepy, I don't know, because I'm so passionate what I'm doing. And I have a small team, which is, very connect with me, very aligned with the visions, that we are so, when we want to do something, we are so passionate and we go all out to do it when you're a small team. So that is why, I thought that we can scale. But when I reach to the, 5 people is okay. When you reach to the team of 10, it's okay. When you multiply to 20, 30, and 100, it's totally different story.
Right.
Because you cannot share your same visions. You cannot share what you in your mind to everyone. So some of them might have a value chain breakdown, which is what we learn.
Right.
That they don't know, you are a CEO, you're the boss. What you're trying to do, I don't understand. So, well, my painful journey is starting from when I scale from 10 to 20 people. So that is how that I see most of my friends also having this kind of difficulties. So that is the reason I would like to invite you to share and walk through with us that how we overcome that.
So a lot of business owners are usually, if you look at small businesses, a lot of business owners are, they're the person that used to do the business, right? So if I am a person that is like, I was a recruiter for before I became a business owner, I was a recruiter and I love to recruit. And so it just becomes natural to me thinking, okay, well, I can do recruiting better than this other company. So why don't I just start my own company and start doing it that way, right? So we call that, of the 3 things that you want to be aware about yourself, that is the artist, right? So you have to ask, this is the first question you must ask yourself. Which role do you fit best in? And which role, like, you want to find a role that you love to do, because if you're in a role that you're not loving to do, it just breaks you down. So understand there's 3 categories, right? So 3 roles, and think about these 3 roles. The first one is the artist. The artist is the person that loves to create the art. The artist is the person that is the great footballer. The artist is the person that is like a great position. I guess you guys love cricket too over there, right? And so it's like like a sports person, or an artist is a person who is a phenomenal actor or a phenomenal singer, right? They are a performer. They create magic. They make things happen they love to get their hands on things and make things happen. So an artist is a person that loves to create. And if an artist is put if an artist is put in a manager role, they might be able to do it. And it just may not be what they love to do, right? They may hate doing the leading and managing. So that's the next step is that. So Nat, what you talked about, like having a team of like 10 people, maybe 20 people, the leader manager loves to lead the team. They love to organize. They love to put people together to make a bigger, to get to bigger goals. Right. And so people are very passionate about leadership because you have to understand leadership also comes with a lot of human emotion. And when there's humans working together, there's conflict, there's challenges. And so the leader manager loves to get them through that. Right. But artists typically don't. They don't want to touch that stuff.
Well, I think we have the conversation that, I love to inspire people, to influence people, to, make a big impact. But when you want me to manage everyone emotion, it's kind of drained because we have a lot of the things. Our minds, our brain is just in this size. So how many things you can store? So how many things you can work on this at the same time? So that is why when you said about artists, well, I totally relate to that, because when I start my business, before I start my business, I was very, as a great salesperson. I'm a top sales in the company. I'm superstar in my company. So I can sell everything from the moon to the sky.
That was me too. I love to sell.
So I'm totally an artist, right?
Right. And so we move into the manager role because we think we have to. And in a lot of companies, they take the best performer and they turn them into the manager. And then they start having a really bad, like they expect that they have to be the manager, but they don't like these things. And it all starts breaking down. The value chain starts breaking down. So you have managers, and I think everybody probably listening to this has experienced this. You have a manager that would much rather be an artist. They're frustrated and they take it out on you. They take it out on the team, right? Because they've never been trained. They just don't know. They don't know how to lead people. And typically most companies, they don't train their managers. They don't teach them about human psychology. They don't teach them that actually managers and leaders are supposed to serve the artists, right? When you have a coach, that's a manager leader, right? A coach of a professional sports team, they're not the highest paid, interestingly enough, right? So if you look at Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, I think you guys are familiar with those two names, right? Yeah. So Michael Jordan is like one of the greatest artists in the world, right? In the way how he played basketball. Phil Jackson was there to support Michael, right?
Yes.
To create a system for him to work in, to play in, to surround it and keep the team moving in the right direction, focused on the big goal, right? And so a lot of frustration comes, a lot of dissatisfaction comes when you've been put into a role where you don't enjoy it. And those are two. There's a third one as well.
So, well, I have a question, Felix,
Sure.
because when just now you mentioned about this, we all complement each other. So the artists, we need the managers, and the managers need to have an artist to manage, right?
Right.
But I have one question for you, because I think the majority of the people is artists when we start the business, right? The most most of the people who started business, they are starting from an artist. And we as the artists, and when we reach to a certain level of success, when we are a small team, we can manage well, we do what we're good at. So we are passionate because we have energy. So we success in our levels. So when we move to the next level, and I can tell you, most of the artists will thought they can be the good managers. and that is the disaster happens.
Right.
I think I can be better. So I will move to manager. Why not now? I have a team and I just, wave my flag and everyone and just follow what my instructions. And they forgot that what they're good at is artists. So I need your input on this, because I think most of the people is having this journey.
Yes. And so, and that's the expectation, right? In a lot of companies, that's how you make more money, right? Is to become the manager. And I'll tell you right now, the companies that force artists to become managers just so they can get paid more will always fail. They're going to have a lot of problems in terms of the passion of their people, right? The whole goal of managers is to have their artists be passionate. It's like, my job as a manager leader is to remove impediments. Like if you have a challenge with your computer, I'm there to help you solve that problem, right? It's not below me. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make my artist shine. And so when you're an artist and or you're in an environment or a company, or your parents may have told you this, right? That you need to become a manager so that you can be more successful. That's not true. That's the wrong advice. It's horrible advice. You got to do what you love to do. And if that's becoming the best artist possible, be the best artist possible. You can try managing, and if it doesn't work for you, understand that's not your path. Don't do that, because you're going to be really unhappy. If you think that everybody, go ahead.
Just now, sorry, I stopped you, because just now you mentioned one thing is very interesting, that you say, if you're a manager, you try to make your artist shine, right?
Yes.
So that's your job.
Yes.
What if the manager also want to be shy?
Here, the manager shines by okay, so that's the challenge, right? Here's the challenge.
Yes.
If you're a manager, it's not about me, it's about we.
Yes.
Right? It has to be. If you're a manager and you think it's all about you, you're the wrong kind of person that's leading. at least in my opinion, right? You know, it's like, and there's a part of it where you can be, and you have to have your people shine. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Elon Musk is a very much kind of like, hey, look at me kind of person, right? But he always talks about his team. He always talks about his people, right? He always talks about like how his teams are the way. It's not him like building the rocket. It's his teams that's building the rocket, and he knows it. And so he's got to inspire his team to do like, see, he sets those crazy, we're going to Mars. And that is like the calling for his team to step up and solve that problem, right? And great leaders do that. Great leaders set that vision, and they encourage their people to do things that they could never thought they might be able to do before. They set incredibly hard goals. They set incredibly hard, incredibly hard time frames, but they always come back and they want their people to do great. They always come back and they need their teams to do really fantastic, right? And so managers, if you're thinking about management, if you're in the right space in your mind, you always are looking to have your artists shine. That's the goal. And there's no other goal than that. As for me, I want my people to be like the best they can possibly be. And if I spend all my time doing that, I get all the rewards.
So can I ask you another question, which is, we know that we need in the company, I think we didn't say that artists is better than managers or managers is better than artists, correct? Mm-hmm. So we need each other. Mm-hmm. For any great successful company, you need a great artist and you need a good managers, right?
Right, exactly.
But what is the ratio? Because we know that it's not difficult to find good artists, but probably it's difficult to find a good managers, at least in my regions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of leader managers, again, nobody is taught. It's almost like parenting, right? You're not taught how to be a parent. You're not taught how to be a good parent, except for your own parents, or examples of you and with your friends, right? Your friends' parents. You just see how other people parent, and you just decide along the way, this is how I think we should parent. And nobody has any training. And the same thing happens in companies. Nobody has any training for leadership. Do they really develop their leaders? Some companies do. And the companies that spend time developing their leaders to be this kind of a leader have fantastic rewards. Right. And sometimes that happens in bigger companies, but there are smaller companies that do that as well. And so it's critical that, so great leaders are developed. They're developed by noticing that they have a skill set. Like an example would be like you're with your team, right? Who does everybody go to in your team to get advice? Who do they go to? Right? Who are they always going to, hey, how would you do this? Oh, and the person spends the time to show them, oh, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. That person stays calm and stays easygoing and very patient with people, and wants to help people grow. You can see that they have that leader that want to be a leader, that want for leadership, right? And so that's one really big clue, because there's a lot of people that are doing the artist job, but they're good at artists, but they may have a much bigger role. And I think there's more leaders than you think. I think there's a lot more out there than you think. They just haven't been developed yet. So you want to constantly look for them, because they're an unbelievable resource. They serve each other, right? Not one is better than the other. You have to have both to be successful.
So there's one thing that I would like to, it's my own experience that I would like to really, is give you advice from my experience. If your company already have an artist is shining, they are doing what they're good at in marketing, sales, digital marketing, design, whatever. And here is the advice for most of the business entrepreneur, because I've been through that pain. Don't try to change your artist to the manager role.
Yes, I made that mistake.
I make that mistake a few years ago, and that is a painful. It's a painful mistake that I make, because that artist is already shy and she loves what she is doing. And you try, this is artist, probably you can move them to manager role. Don't never do that, because if they are good and enjoy what they're doing, just leave it and find a manager to give them a more support to manage the details and process, right?
Right. Yeah, I
It's
agree
not.
100%. I went through the same pain. And that's how
So
I kind
Felix,
of learned this. Yeah.
yeah, so we go for the number three, entrepreneurs. This is very interesting. So those
Yes.
entrepreneurs, you need to listen. What is a real entrepreneurs? So Felix.
Okay, so if you're a true entrepreneur, you are the risk taker. You are all about the bigger multiplier in a company, right? You're constantly looking for ways to expand the business and just make more and more and more money. That's how entrepreneurs think, right? So entrepreneurs are constantly looking for other companies potentially to buy, right? And they're looking for other opportunities like that. They're constantly looking for things to bring in to expand, like how much money, how much profit they make. And so if your mind is constantly on profit, your chances are you're an entrepreneur. you're
And
looking
they
for
don't
like
have
ways
a
to grow and grow and
and they
grow.
don't have the emotional attached with the business. I mean, not that much. So for example, we are artists, we started the business.
Mm-hmm.
If you
They're our
ask the
baby.
artist to sell the business,
They're our
you're like
baby.
asking them to sell the baby.
Right.
Right? But if you ask the entrepreneur to sell the business, they will sell when the price is right. And they
Yes.
go to venture another business, right? Well, that
Yes.
is really overwhelming. When I listen this, I thought, what the what? I'm an entrepreneur. Come on, I'm an entrepreneur. I start business, I multiple business.
Mm-hmm.
But now I know that my core natures, my true natures is artist, because I'm enjoy what I'm doing, which is not what entrepreneur mindset, which is we can be to both at the same time. Felix, can we be both at the same time?
Yeah, you can take on different roles. You can't stay in the role like longer than the role that you enjoy the most, right? So sometimes you have to be the entrepreneur. Sometimes I have to be like more of an artist, right? I don't I this day, like my age now and where I am, I don't really like it being in the weeds and in details. There are other people that love to be like executing and being in the weeds and in details. That's where they feel like they thrive, right? That's not my gift anymore. And if I have to do it, I'll do it. If there's something else not available to do it, I still can do it. It's just not, I know that I don't need, if I stay there, I'm going to be very unhappy. So I have to make sure. And here's the key. You're an artist, you start a company, that's fine. And these are just roles, right? So you need to hire somebody who's the manager leader. You need to hire somebody who's the entrepreneur. And in fact, and
Yes.
confidently, we just started this company last year, and we're 40 business consultants. And I am like, my gift is I can pull all these people together, right? And so, but I'm not the entrepreneur. I'm not the person looking to how can we make this? My job isn't, my mindset isn't how do we create $100 million company, right? My mindset is how do I pull in fantastic people to work together? Now, what I did was in some of those people, I made sure I grab people that are focused on 100 million. That's what they want to do. And they look at us and they set our pricing, they set our margins, they set our pay, like how we pay people, they set our equity, they set all these things up so I don't have to. But everything is set up so that we can become that $100 million company, right? So now we have a path. But that's the entrepreneur part. And that's what I'm not good at, as good at. They're so much better. So let them do it because they love to, right? I'm going to make them shine as well. And so my artists, on the other hand, like we have all these products, all these business advice that we're going to be giving. It's like they're all have their own categories, like human resources, business strategy, marketing. We have all these people in different areas. They have expertise, and we're going to have them shine on the website, right? So their job is to shine, like to deliver their content, help businesses grow, and they're the artists. We want them to be like the rock stars of our company. And so my job is just to pull them all together.
Yeah, so if let's say, because I think we have maybe a lot of the business owners is really still in this to whether I'm in the artist, I stay in the artist, or I need to be a manager, because the company they need managers. But obviously that if let's say you cannot find the managers, the artists as entrepreneurs, you have to take that role. That's why people like me, that I'm so painful for the past few years that I have to take the manager's leader role. And in that case, what is your advice for those artists, which is they're good what they do, they enjoy what they're doing, but it's just that they cannot find the good managers to take this responsibility?
You cannot stop. You have to keep finding. Like, so in my job as a recruiter for 20 years, like owning recruiting agencies, you always have to be recruiting. Always. You're constantly reaching out and talking to people, because 1 minute spent on the manager role when you're an artist is you do it at 50% capacity at best compared to somebody else who does it at 100% or more, right? So the more time you spend on the recruiting side. So the answer is, okay, so let me back up. The answer is, don't buy into that story that you can't find somebody. Don't buy into it. There are people.
Stop your limiting belief.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to be determined to understand that, hey, this is not my role. I need to find that role, and you can hire that person. There are examples everywhere. You just have to you have to know how to hire them for sure. You need to be able to ask them questions to make sure that they are a manager leader, right? And so that's part of the hiring process. How do you understand if like your artist, it's like, you want to hire a manager, but they're an artist. And if they say they're an artist, then you don't want to hire them for that role. You may hire them for an artist role, but you don't want to hire them for the manager role. You just have to ask different questions. You have to make sure that you get that person. And then it's easy go ahead.
I have a lot, I can relate to that for the past few years, because I did a lot of wrong hirings.
Mm-hmm.
So the wrong hiring means I don't have a proper recruitment, recruiting system or whatever. So that is the reason that I have to still be the manager role. Mm-hmm. Which one of my experience that I would like to share is, you need to have someone that is professional enough. They have a system to help you to do the screen and the scanning for your candidate. Mm-hmm. I think that is a must. And also for the entrepreneurs one. So Felix, I think one things I would like you to share is about the business owner and business operators.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yes.
So would you like to, just give it, because we have a limit, we don't have a long session. We cannot go through everything. I apologize for that. I know Felix have a lot of the content, a lot of the great insight to share with all these business owner, or even you plan to have your business or in the professional individual, but it's just that we have limited time. So if let's say you have any questions, so real quick, that post to our comments box, that we try to answer you, but it's just that due to the limited time, so we try to cover whatever we can. Okay, Felix, share with us business owner and business operator.
All of you who actually have a business, you started a business, it's your baby that you're running, right? So there's a big distinction and the goal and a different kind of goal. The true goal for us is to not be what's called a business operator, right? If you're operating your business, that means you're in it every day and you're working, and it's a job. And in fact, it's probably the hardest job you've ever done. When I first started my recruitment agencies, I worked 80 plus hours a week. And I was there, there were times I was there till 10 o'clock at night, right? And I know that there are other people that aren't business owners that sometimes do that as well. And I always felt like I had to do much more than everybody else around me. And so that's being a business operator. And so that becomes very stressful. That becomes a place where you burn out. And if you're a leader and you're burning out, it's going to reflect on every person in your organization. You will tear your organization apart because you're frustrated and you're upset and you're not getting enough rest, right? The goal is to become a business owner. And to become a business owner, that means you have measurements set up. Every person in your company is tracking towards certain goals, right? They're tracking toward measurements that you can get on a spreadsheet or a dashboard that show you, hey, my marketing team has reached this many people this week. This is what their goal was. This is what they hit. My salespeople did this month. This is what their goal was. This is where they hit. So you can see where you need to spend more time, but you kind of dive into those areas as needed, right? You're not living in the areas. And that's where the biggest challenge is for a lot of people who are business operators. They're constantly stressed. They're constantly working their tails off. They're working harder than everybody else. And at some point, you need to set up those systems. You need to find those leader managers for those different teams and then empower them to make decisions. Train them. You've got to develop them to how you want to do business, right? And then after that, you can actually become, and they report their numbers up, and then you can actually become a business owner. And that makes a huge difference in your lifestyle, in your life.
I'm totally a business operator
Yeah, I
for
was
the
too.
past 10 years. So that is why that we have entrepreneurs peers friends that always have this discussion that why business entrepreneurs or business owner that we are work harder 10 times 100 times than our employees, because we thought that we are the only one can do everything. So because that is our baby, when you are the parents, so you will
Hmm.
give the best to your baby, correct?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
that is how exactly for the business operator that we want to give the best to the baby. And we feel that whether shall we send our baby to a babysitter,
Hmm.
because that is what we worry. Because if let's say we send the baby to the babysitter, that we have a we might thinking that it's a risk, whatever. So that is why that uh if you don't want to have go through this pain again, so that's first thing. Identify who are you. Are you
Hmm.
the artist, or you're good in managing people? You are good leaders. You
Hmm.
you you know you just want to manage the system and process and have the sustainability of the business cycle.
Hmm.
And the third one, you are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneur means that you don't have so much of emotional attached with the business.
Right.
You build business because you want to sell the business,
Right.
right?
You want
Unlikely to the artist.
Entrepreneurs always start with an exit strategy. You know you're an entrepreneur if you already have an exit strategy when you first start a
Yes,
company, right? And
yes.
that's the big difference that I had to go learn. I had to learn, like I learned the hard way that oh, I should have had an exit strategy, and
I
then I
can tell
knew.
you that I never thought that I would exit. I think that the first business I started is my is the rest of my life we will attach to this business. That is something that when you really want to scale, that will be painful if let's say you have that kind of mindset,
Right,
correct? So the
right.
business for the entrepreneurs that the first thing you need to think about how to exit and you sell at the right price. So first you have to identify that who you are.
Hmm.
So after you identify the who you are now, and who is your true natures and who you want to be
Hmm.
for the long term.
Right.
And doesn't mean that you cannot at the same times you cannot be managers or cannot be artists at the same time, correct, Felix?
Mm. Right.
So you can be at the same time, but which one you would do you spend your time most?
Yeah, a great example is Tony Robbins. He
Yeah.
started off being a great speaker, right? And so he's like a motivational speaker, and he gets on stage and he moves people, like thousands of people at once.
Yeah.
What people realize don't really know is that he owns many businesses, $1 billion of sales in many businesses. Like I think it's like 50 something companies at this point. And so he's an artist, but he's hired phenomenal entrepreneurs. He's hired phenomenal leader managers to run those other organizations, right? So he can and so what he does, he has to spend time with them here and there, but only when he really needs to, right? So that's the definition of being that business owner and not being a business operator can't handle more than one company at a time for the most part. But a business owner can be somebody who can go set up all these different structures in different companies, set up the values. Like you talked about handing a baby to a babysitter. If that babysitter is your mother or your mother-in-law that has the same values as you, then you're okay,
Yeah.
right? That's the
Yes.
whole goal, is that you have to set your organization, you have to understand its values. If they don't know what the values are, then how, like if you don't know what your own values are, then how are they supposed to know, right? And
Yeah.
that's that. And we can go like another couple hours on just values alone. And we can go through different exercises that people can do to understand what their true values are and to create a value system in their company that everybody loves to go to that office every day and they love to support each other. And that's kind of the key as being a business owner. Like it was funny because I was listening to your guys like setting up the this webinar, and
Yeah.
they're friends with each other, and they're amazing
Hmm.
people, and they're having great conversations, and it's not just about work, and they have a smile on their face, and you can tell when people are enjoying themselves in an organization just by the conversations they have that are not about work, right? And they're willing to talk to each other about those things. And there are very many companies that don't talk about those things at all, and they don't have those kind of relationships. So that's
Okay.
great job, Matt. By the way, that's a great job.
Well, I think I'm good in managing for the team of 10, or maybe, you know, it's beyond 10. I think I couldn't spend most of my time. I think same goes to you, right? So that's why we need the managers or leaders that we can, you know, deliver our message to the leaders and managers so they can
Yes.
really properly deliver to every single individual in the company. So I think we have one questions that would like to ask, you know. So okay, let's see our question because I think we are running out of time. So right, so hello Days, what would you say the best way to develop someone or to guide them to the right path? So any strategies, any maybe system, any things that they can do?
So in the interview process, you want to ask people where they have the most happiness, right? Is it, do you like leading people? Do you like making things? Or do you like, you know, like being the person that strategizes on how the business can become a global dominating enterprise, right?
Yeah.
And so there's no right or wrong answer. That's the best time to ask, is there's no right or wrong answer. They just like, where are, like, you know, you ask them in where they felt most successful, right? So give me in time, or even if you talk to your people right now, say you have an employee, where do you feel most happy? What do you do on a daily basis where you enjoy it the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll know right away. It's like, oh, well, I love teaching. I love training other people. I love, like, you know, helping people be better. Or I love making that spreadsheet. I love like building, like, you know, like really complex spreadsheets to do this, this, and this, right? So the complex spreadsheets would be an answer of the artist. They love to create things. Whereas somebody who loves to help other people reach their goals, that would be a great manager, or potentially a great manager, right? And so those are some ways to understand where people are. Your managers have to love to find that out about people. They have to love to find out about building those relationships. If they get up every day wanting to learn more about their people, if you have somebody like that in your organization, that's a great sign. A great sign is that that person's always asking people how they're doing. Are they happy? Are they, you know, what can they do to be better? How can I serve you? Right? Even if they're in an artist role at the time.
So what if we don't have the kind of person in our organization, Felix?
Then you need to go find one, right? You don't want to put you don't want to put artists in manager leader roles for long term, because they're just not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not going to happen.
If you see a very frustrated person in a manager leader role, then you really need to sit down and talk with them. That's one great way to find out what, if they're doing something, like they're frustrated all the time. It's like, all these people, they just don't listen. You know, they're just kind of upset. They're in the wrong role, because a true leader will go and build that relationship to find out what's going on with that person, right? And they'll take whatever tools they've learned about human psychology along the way to help them do that. And so the goal is to make sure that they're trained even better to understand people, to serve them. So managers, serve your artist, make your artist shine. That's your job.
That's very, very critical, because we all thought that, you know, manager is someone to come in, it just carry a title of manager,
right?
But they have to manage just a certain process or certain activity or program. But actually, the manager here is very important. That the manager is to manage people emotion.
Yes.
Right? Because we all human being. We all have a different emotion, especially now the COVID-19. You know, all this lockdown. You stay at home. So even ourselves, that we as entrepreneurs, we've been through so many things in our life, but we still have to overcome that, you know, uncertainty, that kind of emotion, right? So I think very important, because when first 5 years ago, when I came across about these artist managers and entrepreneurs, and first thing in my mind is, I'm an entrepreneur, right? But after that, I know that I'm not. I'm an artist. I'm not the managers. So when I notice that I'm an artist, so who I need? So because there's one critical, you find out who you are and who you need. So I totally know that I need a manager. I'm so lucky that I hire one that help me to manage a company. So I'm very looking forward. And second, that, you know, as an entrepreneurs, so entrepreneurs, that I have to switch my mindset, and when I'm in the entrepreneur roles, that I don't have so much emotional attached, because the purpose of the business is, you know, serve the client, and also you need to create the value. You know, you don't want to sell, it's okay, but you make sure your company has the value, that when you want to sell, like COVID-19.
Yeah.
When you decide to sell and now you plan to have to build a value for your company, it's too late, right? So I think it's very critical, and really appreciate your time, Felix. I think Felix have one more thing to share, but I think it's running out of time. Maybe we do it in next sessions.
Sure.
So
Oh, we can do many
what
sessions. If people
yeah,
are
we can
interested,
do
we can do
many.
many
So
sessions.
if let's say you would like to hear more from Felix, and please kindly give us a feedback, so we will invite Felix back to the talk show again. I think there's one very important that you would like to share is about the team culture, right?
Yes,
How
yes.
to build your elite team, and
Okay.
that's very, very important. I mean, it's
We're
really good session. So
Yeah, I'm going to touch on this. This is a much longer conversation overall, but I want you to understand what there's three different kinds of culture that almost every company is built on. Three different kinds. The first one is individual competition, right? So General Electric here in the United States, that is a company where they measure everything that people are doing. They're always getting people to compete against each other. So every year, this is actually good. This is a competition, not individual holacracy. This is like hyper competition. And so competition is all like if the top 10% are abnormally rewarded and the bottom 10% are fired every year, regardless of how, even if it's like they're doing well, even if they're at the bottom 10%, they get let go, right? So it's all about competition. So the second type of company is called teamwork. And a great example of teamwork is Starbucks, right? Starbucks is everywhere. A teamwork company is where the team has a goal. Each store has a goal. And if they reach that goal, then all the people in that store are rewarded the same as everybody else, regardless of how much more somebody might contribute, right? So say Nat and I work together, and Nat contributes like 2 times as much as I do. But I still get the same kind of reward that she does. And that's okay because we're in a teamwork environment. She knows that I'm going to, like, if she's having a down month or something, I'm going to make up for that. Okay. But it's all about the team. And so the third kind of company is called individual holacracy, right? So a great example of this company is called Zappos, which ended up getting bought by Amazon for a few $1 billion. And so Zappos sells shoes, right? They came in later on, they sold shoes. I was like, it's just shoes. But Tony Hsieh, the CEO, focused heavily on just creating a culture of happiness in their company where everybody didn't need to be told what to do, that they knew what to do, and they were let to go do what they needed to do. So they actually took out managers. They literally were no managers left in Zappos. Everybody should have just known if they don't know what to do, then they go ask for some additional help. But that's the far side of holacracy. That's a very individual focus. So the question is, a lot of frustration happens if you don't know who you are, and then you go into a company that isn't you. And I'll give you an example. I had a really good friend here in Los Angeles that was a phenomenal project manager. I mean, agile project manager. He was one of the best I've ever known. And just a great teamwork person, loved working with their teams, loved making sure everybody was taken care of, right? He's just that kind of person. So he left Los Angeles, moved up to the Bay Area. He moved up to Seattle, and then he joined Amazon. Amazon is a competitive company, and he got torn apart in that company. He was so unhappy because it was just competition. And it's not about teamwork. Everybody's vying to get like the higher position. Everybody's vying to be shine even more themselves, right? And so he did not fit. It took 6 months before they separated. And if you think about it, every failed hire is 3 times the cost of their salary, of how much you paid them so far, and the time that it took to recruit them and the time it took to train them. And so if Amazon knew that he was a teamwork person, why would you hire him into your company that's competitive, right? And so you need to understand who you are. Do you like teamwork better? Do you like competition? Or do you like being in the individual, hey, just let me do my thing, right? I don't need to interact with a lot of people. I just need to do my job. Leave me alone to do my job. I'm very happy. Right? So which one are you? And are you understanding what kind of company that either you are interviewing for, or when you're interviewing people for your company, are you understanding that are they matching one of your culture, your framework? If you do this, it takes a lot of pain away, right? It'll take a lot of pain away.
So based on what you explained, Felix, I think my understanding of competition, teamwork, and holacracy, right? It seems like competition is most faster way. Competition is a faster way to implement. Whereby teamwork and holacracy, you need a lot of efforts, and need to spend a lot of time. So can I say that? So competition is like, give you A, B, you guys compete.
You can do it. It's just whether or not people will thrive in it, right? So if people are teamwork people and they go into that kind of competition, they won't thrive. They'll fail. Just like my friend he's a phenomenal project manager, right? He should be able to succeed anywhere in any company. And when he went to Amazon, it was just a horrible match. I mean, it was literally, it's not a wrong thing for each company, for the company itself. The company's not wrong. He's not wrong, right? It's just not a fit. And so you got to find a fit where you are fulfilled, right? The company needs to find people that match. So if you want to be competitive, then you have to hire people who are competitive. And all you have to do is ask them, which one of these three do you like the most, right? And why? And if they say competitive, you're competitive, you want to really look at hiring that person. If they said that they're a teamwork person and you're competitive, it's not going to work very well. They're going to be really unhappy, and you're going to be unhappy with the results.
Okay, so I think I think we are toward the end of the session. So really appreciate your time, Felix. So let me a little bit of the sum up of what we have discussed today. Find out who you are. Are you an artist, managers, leaders, or entrepreneurs? So if you know who you are, then you will enjoy what you're doing. And then which one is you don't want to be, and you just find someone to complement you. And then if let's say you know who you are, actually it will be much easier for you to magnify all the result and business result you want, business outcome. And then second is about your cultures. Is that your cultures in competition, teamwork, or individual holacracy? But this one, I think we need a longer session. So which is unfortunately today we cannot do that. So if let's say you want to hear more from Felix, please kindly give us a comment or give us a feedback. So we will invite Felix come back. Just for information, Felix is a senior trainer with Tony Robbins for 20 years. So I think there's a lot of things we'll learn from you. I really appreciate your time. And anything you want to say before we end the session, Felix? You want to give a last advice or whatever?
Absolutely. If I had it all over to begin with, I would have listened to this very carefully. I would have brought the right kind of people into my initial company, and we would have had an exit strategy, and we would have sold it at the right time. Here's the most important thing. Do what you're passionate about. Be open for opportunities. Keep your mind open. Be open to take risks at times when they make sense, right? Like even right now. So like COVID is, yes, it's a scary thing overall. And there are opportunities to do things now that had never existed before. There are opportunities to make a difference that have never existed before. All these people not going into an office to work at this point, they're so look at Zoom for that matter, right? Look at the Zoom as far as a company, it's just gone skyrocketing because Netflix is going crazy, right? Amazon Prime is going, any video sharing is going crazy, right? I know there's companies in Malaysia that are going nuts because Amazon's going nuts, like grocery stores are going nuts. Stop looking, not say it that way. Look for what opportunity there is. Stop looking for the opportunity that is gone, right?
Yes.
Train your mind to look for things that could make a difference. You live to make a difference. You live to add value. Find ways to do it. They're all around you. No matter what's going on in the world, they're all around you. So make it happen. That's all I gotta say. Be passionate.
just like what we're doing, Facebook Live or YouTube streaming, live stream, all these things. If let's say there's no COVID, I think we would delay and keep delay.
Right. And it's and here's the thing that I know you love this. This is who you are. You're in your best shining when you're having the opportunity to share and make a difference with people like this, right? And that's how we know that she's an artist, because this is you look at her face and she's just shining because this is so much fun for her, right?
Yeah, so I enjoy doing that. I really enjoy doing that because I always think that what can I add value to people, and if I can add value to 10 people, whatever I can, I don't mind. It can be Don't need to be a bunch of a few thousand people are listening. Even, if you have 5, 10 people are listening, I will be very happy if, let's say, any things that I can add value to your life, and whatever Felix said that it can help you to transform your organization, this is what I'm grateful for.
Yes,
I really appreciate you.
You're just the shining example of embracing what you love to be, and then hire other people to do the other jobs. And it's so easy after that.
I did that already. Well, I take your advice. I already hired managers that help me to run the organization. Well, I think it's really good fun and have a conversation. If, let's say, you guys would like to hear more, please kindly let us know, so we will invite. But I think I definitely would like to hear more from Felix. I have lots of things would like to discuss and learn from you, and appreciate your time. And on behalf of CCC Creative Cloud Community, thanks for your time, and stay safe. And I think we will be end of the session right now. So give us a comments or whatever. So Felix, thanks for your time. Appreciate that.
Stay healthy, everybody. Have a great year. Let's make this the best year ever.
Yes. Make a move.